Brady. He is the vice chair of the Joint Economic Committee and former House Majority Leader Dick Armey. Welcome, gentlemen. Thank you. All right, you heard my shtick. Now, I want to grade Mitt Romney. Let's start out with likability. What do we got up here? Likability. Are we going to give, is it going to be mine or are we going to, all right, I'm giving him an A. All right, now we're talking. It's not up here in the string. Likability, he gets an A. That's from Dick Armey. Kevin Brady gives him an A. Larry Kudlow, likability, he gets an A. All right, so that's pretty good. Let me start there. Likability. Let me just ask Dick Armey. Does Romney really have a trouble with likability? I don't understand where this is. This just a red herring?
I think it is to some extent. You know, for the past, I don't know how many elections, we've put charisma ahead of character. We've put ceremony ahead of substance. We put do you look good walking ahead of do you have any sound foundation on which you stand. And I have been arguing for some time right now. We're really ready to get past the glamour and get to the substance. And I believe that he demonstrated, by comparison with your orthodox conventional politician, that he was enough of a man of substance that he didn't need to try to be glamorous.
All right.
And I think that's reassuring to us.
All right, I think that's great. Kevin Brady, you give him an A for likability. Just give me a quick one-liner, because I don't think likability is his problem.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And I'm so impressed. The more I've learned about him this past week, the more impressed I am. We don't want a cool president any longer. We want one with character, and that's what Mitt Romney has.
All right, I give him a likability A also. And by the way, I think he made a lot of progress on the gender gap. Now, let's go to some tougher issues. Growth policy. Dick Armey, I was not overwhelmed by Romney's explanation of growth. We're going to get to taxes in a moment. You give him a B on growth policy. Why are you so lenient? I thought you were a tough grader.
Well, quite frankly, he did tick off 5 points of growth for jobs. He did connect growth to jobs, demonstrated that jobs come from economic growth in the private sector. And I guess perhaps I was grading on the curve here, and I was looking at Romney as compared to Obama, and on that curve, it was, with that, it's very easy to move Obama up the grade level a little bit, because he's got at least some substance and some substantive understanding as compared to the guy that gets such a frightening F on the matter.
All right, Kevin Brady, you give him an A on growth policy. And Kevin, I just got to tell you, I don't think either Romney or Paul Ryan, okay? And Paul Ryan is a friend of mine. I think the world of him. I don't think either of them used the growth word. The growth word is such an important word. It's an optimistic word. It's a goals word. You know, you got to tell people we believe in growth, growth, growth. I don't think they use it near enough.
You know, my guess is for both you, Larry, and Dick Armey and myself, they could never use it quite enough for us. The truth is, both of them had to cover a lot of ground in a short period, address a number of different issues, and actually set a whole new generational tone for the leadership of this country. They succeeded there. My guess is they're going to be filling in that growth agenda in a major way from here on through November 6th.
All right. I want to go to tax policy, and I want to switch the order. Put Kudlow's tax policy up there first. What did I give him? Can you give me? All right. I give him a C- on tax policy. Now, Kevin Brady gives him an A, but my friend Dick Armey is closer to me. He gives him a C. Now, Dick, here's the thing. I think a C is about right, or C-. Why is it Romney doesn't specifically talk about his 20% marginal tax cut for all individuals? Heck, it would bring down middle-class tax rates to about 15%. It would help small businesses. Why doesn't he specifically mention it? It was nowheres in the speech. Why doesn't he specifically mention, Dick Armey, a 25% corporate tax rate down from 35%? What is so hard, Dick, about talking about lower rates and flattening the code? Has he given up on the tax cuts? What's your take?
Well, I'm distressed in the same way you are, too. And I was distressed to hear Paul Ryan, who knows better, talk about tax fairness. But what it amounts to, I believe, is a problem that Republicans tend to have to be timid on their strength. If they get bold by once again connecting taxes and tax reductions and smart growth tax reductions to that economic growth that creates jobs, they complete the story. But they get so hammered on this with the goofy rhetoric of the left that they get to be timid. I saw that as a case in point where there were people who knew better that were listening too much to political consultants and pollsters and not being their own person with strength and conviction.
And Kevin Brady, on top of not mentioning specifically the 20% cut, the 25% corporate rate, he should talk about tax simplification. People hate the IRS. In his own plan, he wants tax simplification. And I am concerned that for some reason Mitt Romney is pushing the tax issue to the side. He's pushing the supply side incentive model to the side. And if he does that, he is going to make a mistake that root canal Republicans make. You know, the unemployed, to them, debt as a share of GDP means nothing. But if you say to the unemployed, I'm going to give you a freer economy and lower tax rates and you'll get a job, or if you say to the middle class, or if you say to investors, I'm going to give you lower tax rates, that's going to give you better incentives and rewards, people will understand how this economy can open up and flourish. I was so disappointed in both of them, Kevin. I'm telling you, Paul Ryan talking about tax fairness, that's a liberal, left, Obama tax the rich idea. What the hell's that doing in there? And why can't Mitt be specific on these other issues?
You know, my guess is you and I and Dick Armey and others are just so eager to get into this tax reform simplification debate. We can't get enough of it, but I don't read everything into two speeches. Paul Ryan has never been timid in his life, and Mitt Romney has already made it clear to House Republicans he's actually going to be the partner in the White House we've been waiting for, who will sit down at the table and actually get serious about the tough decisions that will lower this code, make us competitive again around the world, eliminate the loopholes. You know, I have no doubt where he's going to go as president.
I mean, I think the energy deregulation is terrific. I think the school choice is terrific. I think the balanced budget is terrific. But if you're talking growth, you got to talk taxes. Taxes give everybody a break. The left doesn't like that, and so they're trying to make a hullabaloo. Tax rates give everybody an incentive and reward, and it frees up the economy. All right, let's go and look at the overall.
And just one point.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just one point, Larry. You've got to give the president credit for talking about trade, especially with this president. You know, to have someone stepping out and say it is time for us to level the playing field, tear down that America need not apply signs around the world, let us compete.
I give him
you have to give him
credit.
Extra points for that.
By the way, I'd like him to use your Monetary Stability Act, and I'd like him to talk about the Gold Commission also, because I think that's important. All right, let's look at the overall grading here. I give him a B. Kevin Brady gives him an A. Dick Armey gives him a B+ overall. Dick Armey, B+, very lenient.
Well, again, remember, I'm grading on that curve that has Obama there, and he's also got a bit of a handicap here because there's so much. He's being so much surrounded now by political consultants. He needs to rise above them, as Reagan did repeatedly, and quite frankly, I think he's a strong candidate. You know, and I've said before, Obama was 100% against us and against all common sense. Mitt Romney's at least 80% on our side and for common sense. His weaknesses are minimal by comparison, and we're making a big turnaround for America, and an absolutely imperative turnaround at the absolutely imperative necessary time, but if we get Mitt Romney elected president.
All right, but Kevin Brady, he's got to spell it out. He's got to make the connection between lower taxes and fewer regulations and energy. He's got to say to people, here's how we're going to do it. He's got to say, here's how we're going to do it, Kevin. I'll give you the last word.
Well, and I'm confident he will. He and Paul Ryan are going to be strong messengers, especially compared to who we have in the White House today.
All right, we'll leave it there. Thank you, gentlemen. Very interesting. Congressman Kevin Brady of Texas and Dick Armey, former Majority Leader, also from Texas. Coming up on Kudlow, the long-awaited Jackson Hole Central